So hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be a continuation of my Python basics series, and the topic of today's video is Python list iteration. So guys, in my last video in Python basics series we discussed about Python list in detail and all the functions of Python list and their features, and today what we are going to discuss is how we can use loops and list comprehension to basically iterate over them, modify them, and view their values. Okay, so before starting any further, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for further notifications. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, if you want to iterate on any list, you basically have to create a list. So let me create a list called as languages, and here I am passing languages or coding languages: Python, Java, R, C++, and let's also add C#. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to simply print out all the elements in this list. The very easy way to do this is with the help of loops. Now, some of you might already know that we have two types of loops. One is your for loop and another is your while loop. Okay, so for loop is basically a loop in which you give a starting point and an ending point. So the starting point here is that I will be starting from the 0th index and I want to go till the last index of this list. Okay, how we can do that? So basically, to iterate every element using a for loop, all you have to do is write a variable for x in languages, and then simply colon and then print x. So what this for loop basically means that for every element in the languages list, you go over it and you print it. So basically you can see that now all the elements are printed using this for loop. Another thing which you can do is in for loop, what you can actually iterate over the index of this list. Okay, so for example, x in range of length of languages. So what we are doing is we are creating a variable which is having values from 0 to the length of the languages. Okay, so range of length of languages starts from 0 to the length of the language. So and then now x is from 0 till length -1. So basically how we can print languages and x. So here x becomes the index. Now if you see, this also works pretty much fine. Another way is to use the while loop. Now whenever you are using a while loop, you cannot specify or you cannot initialize your variable inside the loop just like the for loop. You have to initialize your variable before starting of the loop, and in the loop all you have to specify is the conditions. While x is less than length of languages, and simply print language x, and now you have to increment x with the 1. Oh, okay, so I have some spelling issue here, and okay, so I have some spelling issue with this. Okay, let's see, and I have some spelling issue here, so you can see now it works. Sorry for my spelling mistake, but that is called as a while loop. Okay, so I hope that is clear to you. Now you see what happens here is that if you use for loop or if you are using while loop, you are basically writing something in multiple statements. We have in Python some concept which is called as list comprehension, and using list comprehension basically you can reduce your syntax. Okay, and you can basically copy a list or modify an existing list and store it into another variable. with a smaller syntax. Okay, now let's see an example here. So let's print our list here. So my languages list consists of 5 languages right now. What I want to do is I want to basically filter out C++ and C# from this list. I want to remove them and I only want to have Python, Java and R. So you can see that it is a pretty easy way, that all I have to do is I have to remove all the languages which are starting with C. Let's see how we can do this with a for loop. First of all, let me create a new variable called as new lang, and let me initialize this with an empty list. Now for x in languages, so now I have got every language in this x variable. If x0 is not equals to C, then you simply append that into new lang list. Okay, append x. Okay, so now you have completed your for loop, and I will now print out my new lang variable. So you see what happened. Now I have actually modified this list and removed these 2 elements and stored it into a new list. So this is how you can use for loops to modify your list. Okay, or to basically filter out your list on the basis of some condition, right? But what if I do not want to write a multiple line code? Yes, you can write all this code using a single line, and that concept is called as Python list comprehension. Let's see how we can do that. So now for Python list comprehension, we will again use this new lang variable, and we will write it here, new lang equals to square bracket and x for x in languages, but only use x if x0 is not equals to C, and then close bracket. So you see, in case of list comprehension, if we are filtering out the list, or if we are mapping list or filtering out the list, we simply write the conditional statement in the end, and then this will filter out my list, languages list, and provide us only those variables or only those items which provides this condition value as true. So now in new lang, I will only be having those languages which are not having first letter as C. So did you see that in only one line I actually executed the code for which I was earlier writing 3 lines? Okay, you can use this list comprehension for all type of iteration related operation. For example, if you just want to copy the list, for example, I do not want to filter out any element. In that case, just remove this condition and your entire list of languages will be copied out into this new lang variable. Okay, you see that now you have created a copy. You can simply use it to copy a range or to copy a list of numbers or any sort of list. Okay, so basically the syntax here is that you have to give your variable name for and the same variable in your list. Okay, now this is and it is followed by some condition. Condition holds true. But this thing is that if you want to filter out a list, let's suppose I do not want to filter out a list, or it's okay that, okay fine, I got my filter out list, but I also want to map that list item into some other item or into some other modified form. Let's take an example. Let's suppose that I want to filter out all the languages which are not starting with C. So let's suppose Python, Java and R, but I want to receive all these languages in uppercase, or let's suppose in lowercase. Okay, so I want to basically apply some operation over this variable object. How you can do that? It's very simple. So just take this part. So now we have got our language not starting with C, and if you just want to modify or map this variable to some other thing, just do the same here. So let's suppose I want only lowercase, so just write lower here, and now print new lang, and you can see that now all the languages are in lowercase. So I will just change the condition here, that map variable for variable in the list if the condition holds true. Now let's suppose I do want lowercase of languages. I do want that if the language is filtered out correctly, then I want them to be in lowercase. But in case if the languages are, I do not want that in lowercase. I want if the languages are, then it should be in uppercase. Otherwise, all the languages should be in whatever case they are being given, right? So how we can change this condition? So just use this same thing. And what we will do here is x dot lower, it's the generic case. So for all the other variables, it should be x dot lower. That means if my x is not equals to r, then x dot lower. But if it is r, then provide x. So that means for all the languages which are not equals to r, the response should be a lowercase. But if the language is equals to r, that means if we have the else case, then we should return the language name itself. That means r should be in capital case. So let me execute this. And now if you print this thing, you will see that all the languages are in lowercase, but r is printed in capital case. So basically, if I change this condition here, you have basically map the variable and over condition. So if there is some condition, then change the variable or not change the variable for all the variables existing into the list if your particular condition holds true. Okay, so this is condition 2 if this is condition 1. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you now, and let me go to the next part, which is the sorting of the list, another very important part. And if you are going into any algorithm competitions and all that, then you know that sometimes sorting is really helpful, and you do not want to write long sorting functions like bubble sort or selection sort. At that point of time, if you know the sorting function, it is pretty easy for you. So let's see, let's print my languages list here. So if I print languages, then you see that my languages are like this. Now I want to sort these languages. So what I will do is just I will write languages sort. Okay, now just print languages. You see what happened? My languages are now sorted. So C#, C++, Java, Python and R, where all are starting in an alphabetical order. Now you see one more thing I will do here. Let's take this new lang. Okay, so new lang list was having these variables Python and Java in lowercase, but R was in the uppercase. So just think, if I am not sorting this with keeping in mind the case sensitive or case insensitive, let's say P and J must come first and then R should come in the last, right? So if we are thinking in a case insensitive manner, but by default the sort function is case sensitive. So if I use new lang dot sort, then you see what happens. Now my capital case variable will always come in the front. So capital cases are always given higher priority. That means they have a lower ASCII value, and that's why in ascending order they come before the lower case. That's why R is coming first, and Java and Python are sorted in a alphabetical order. But if you want that your list should not be in ascending order, what you can do is you can simply write something. Let's say we are sorting languages, so let's make our language list unsorted again. So if my language list is like this and I want to sort this into descending order, then you have basically two ways. Either you can write languages dot sort reverse equals to true, and now let me print the languages. You will see that the order is reversed. So guys, that is how you can reverse your list. Another way is that if you do not want to sort your list on the basis of case sensitiveness, you want that your list should be sorted in a case insensitive manner, then you can do something like this. Just write here languages. So let's print that my language is right now sorted, so I will just make it unsorted right now. And once that is done, I can simply do something like this: lot sort and key equals to str dot lower. So what basically you are doing is you are passing here a function. So once this function returns a plus minus or 0 minus or 1 value, or basically on the basis of that you are sorting out. So here the key is that you are converting all the variables of this language list into lowercase, and because you are converting that, when you are sorting it and you will simply print it, now you will see that all your that your whole list is basically sorted in a case sensitive order. Okay, I'm sorry, this example was not that great, so let me do this example on the new lang variable, and let's print the new lang here. So new lang is currently having r as the first variable. If I do something like this, sort key equals to str dot lower, and now I print new lang, then r should be in the end. So you see, that's how you can basically change the key of your variable. Okay, you can do something like this also. You can basically define your own comparator here. So my comparator, and what you can pass here is the number, and let's suppose I want that my list should be sorted in the reverse manner. So I want basically that my list should be sorted in some order which is the reverse of that, right? So basically what you can do is you can simply return -1 into n. Okay, so now let's see that my numbers list is something like this, like 6, 2, 1 and 5 and like 9, right? Okay, and if I print numbers, what I will have this. Now if I do numbers dot sort and then I print numbers, then what I will get 1 2 5 6 9. Okay, now let's execute this again, and now what I want is I want to sort these numbers in a reverse manner. So what I can simply do, I can write key equals to my comparator. Okay, so what I can simply pass here my function, and now see how it will sort it. You see, because I was multiplying -1 with my number, my list just got reversed. So you can create your own comparators as well. So guys, this was about the sorting of the list, and the last thing I want to cover is copying the list. I think pretty much you already know how you can copy the list, and you can copy the list using list comprehension pretty easily, but there are some methods also. For example, like if I'm talking about the numbers, let's create numbers copy, and if you want to create a copy, you can just simply write here copy. And now if I print numbers here, print numbers copy, it will be the copy of the numbers list. But there are many other ways, as I just showed you, that you can use list comprehension. You can also use something like this, like new copy equals to list of numbers. So if you just pass numbers or some list into this list function, some existing list into the list function, it will basically create a new list out of that and create a copy. And if you print that, this will be a copy. Okay, if you want to extend your list, I think I also explained it in the part 1 of the Python list, that you can use append operation, extend operation, or just simply concatenation to extend or increase the size of your list. So guys, I hope you like this video and you learned something from it. If you want me to create more such video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for further notifications. Till then, thank you so much everyone. Stay at home, stay safe, And thanks again. Bye bye.